G'day legends, have you ever wondered how many years it would take to complete the entire collection log? Well, today we're going to answer that while we're going over the 10 rarest items in RuneScape, and the last one will completely shock you. And can you believe the Arim staff at 25% was once confirmed by Mod Ash to be literally the rarest item in the entire game because it was only owned by one single player? But for this list, we're not going to be including obscure things like that. We're going to be looking at how many are in the game and also dividing it by how many hours it actually takes to receive that. Let's get into the list. And first up at number 10 are some of the Chompy Hats. Now, many players would have the Ogre Expert hat from catching 1000 Chompies when completing the Western Province Diary. And they may even have the next couple of tiers of hats if they went a little bit dry when obtaining the Chompy Chick, which is a 1 out of 500 drop rate, but you can only catch it once you've initially completed the diary. But hardly anyone I know has gone on to catch 4000 Chompies and received the Expert Dragon Archer hat. And personally, I don't even think the higher tier hats look that much different to the mid tier ones, but seeing players rock around with the expert hats is a fairly unique sight in Gielinor, and overall these hats wouldn't take too long to get, but because of how little people go on to kill the Chompies after receiving the diary and the pet, I would say the rarity of these hats is quite high. But the Chompy hats have nothing on a very special piece of burnt food that for a long time only a secret few actually knew how to obtain. This is none other than the infamous burnt umli wrap. This piece of burnt food was so rare that some people were actually making billions of GP as a side hustle selling it. And her nanny was the first YouTuber I saw to try and make this rare piece of food known to the masses, and her first video was over 30 minutes of utter confusion trying every method in the book to try and obtain this burnt piece of food. But after that video got a whole lot of views, she then came out with another one a couple of weeks later and the mystery was solved. And for everyone curious, when you're getting the ice diamond from Desert Treasure 1, you enter an ice area where all of your stats get lowered by the snow. And while you're here and you have 1 HP, then it becomes possible to actually burn an Omli wrap. After this became known to the masses, the prize plummeted and now they're not really worth too much at all. Next up, coming in at number 8, I'm putting the Castle Wars armor. To receive every item in the Castle Wars shop, you would need to receive 5,549 tickets, aka play and win 1,850 games. With each game taking 20 minutes, every Castle War item will take 616 hours to collect if you were to win every single game and also not account for the waiting time in between games. For me, this armor has such a classic old school feel and always seemed like one of the most unobtainable things back when I was a kid, and you would just see some of the most elite players walking around in it feeling super jealous. But something that is even better than decorative armor, however, is my favorite Triforce of items, the Raid Mega Res. This includes the elusive T-Bow, the formidable Scythe of Vitor, and the mysterious Tomb of Gherkin Shadow. These coveted items are not merely powerful weapons, but also a symbol of prestige and accomplishment around Gielinor, obtained by taking on raids and getting very lucky with the rarest drops you can possibly receive. And personally, I just love these three. I think they're a great mix of the amount of hours they take to get and also how many players actually have achieved all three in the game. But something that is even rarer than those mega rares but has absolutely no practical application in RuneScape is the amazing Evil Chicken outfit. And this item is very sought after by collection loggers. It can take such a long time to receive. A piece of the outfit is only 1 out of 300 chance to receive from one of the eggs. But first you have to receive a bird's egg from a tree, which is around a 1 out of 100 chance, or even slightly rarer while you're wearing a rabbit's foot. And this Redditor here on screen worked out it would take around 2,400 hours or 100 days of playtime to try and receive the outfit. And please note, this was, however, before you could receive the eggs from birdhouse runs, which has massively helped to get this outfit. And I also think possibly there's some forestry updates that have helped people get it a lot faster as well. But either way, it is still extremely rare and something that only the very lucky or the elite collection loggers have ever achieved in RuneScape. And to be fair, the outfit does look kind of ridiculous and isn't something that people want to wear around all the time, which is actually the complete opposite of the next items on our list. Coming in next at number 7, we have all the various capes around RuneScape. Now, because there's so many rare and also somewhat unobtainable capes in our game, I'm going to have just capes in general take up 2 spots on our list. And first up on our cape list, I'm going to include something that's pretty much just a cape on a big old stick. It's going to be the flags from Trouble Brewing. Now, these flags can take quite a while to get, but because of how dead Trouble Brewing is, you're going to need a friend or at least be playing on a couple of accounts to even do the minigame. The minigame takes a while, and I feel like everyone who grinds it out is only going to go for the final cape at 6,000 points, which is the Fast Matty flag. It does look pretty cool, but the ones slightly lower than that are going to be so rare in the game, because who's going to grind out that whole minigame and purchase the ones that aren't even the final tier? So I think the capes on a stick at the treasure flag and the lucky shot flag take a fair while to collect and are also super rare. Only collection loggers I can imagine would have them in the game. Others I want to include in the capes category are the raids capes from Cox, TOB and TOA. These achievement capes take thousands of raids to receive, and they also come in at an insane amount of play time, hundreds if not thousands of hours to receive all of them. And even some of the top 10 collection loggers haven't even had the time to grind out the hours you need to put in to receive all of these KC capes yet. Other capes that need a mention on this list would have to be the Last Man Standing 1000 wins cape, which can take a quality PK quite a while to receive, with other players battling it out for hundreds of hours to only receive maybe a couple of hundred wins in LMS, making this one basically unobtainable for a lot of players out there. And to quickly summarize some other capes that are super rare in our game are the Champions Cape, a personal favorite of mine, and also the Inferno Cape, which unfortunately I still have not received. And we have to mention some unique accounts and builds that take thousands of hours to receive super unique untrimmed skill capes, my favorite of which would have to be the Untrimmed Slayer Cape. All of these capes mentioned take an extremely long time to grind out, but I would still rather go for any one of those than the Jar of Darkness before its drop rate was increased. Originally, this jar had a drop rate of 1 out of 2,500, and you may know that to kill Skatizo, of course, you need to own a full totem, which put the traditional Jar of Darkness as the rarest item in the game, literally taking over thousands and thousands of hours to receive if you got lucky, and made it virtually impossible to receive if you had terrible RNG and went double the drop rate. This insane drop rate was stated by Jagex to actually be a mistake and something that shouldn't have been in the game. They put it as an oversight when creating the drop table. And to put it in perspective, the pet from Skatizo is actually a 1 out of 65 drop, and the current top page on the high scores ranges from just over 1,000 to good old Larry on top with a KC of 1,743, which is still not even in line with the actual drop rate to receive that jar. But the high level community was not happy about having an item in the game that was so impossible to receive, so Jagex did decide to poll to change the drop rate to 1 out of 500. But this failed by just 3%. There was still, however, a lot of noise in the community, so Jagex decided to re-poll it at a 1 out of 200 drop rate, and this time it passed at 85.2%. Many collection loggers actually knew that this poll was coming and were storing hundreds of dark totems. And now, although still very rare and it can take an extremely long time to receive if you get unlucky, it is hard but certainly not as impossible as it once was. But our second to last item on the list is basically impossible to try and grind out and receive all of them, because it is none other than the mega rare third age items that you can receive from Master Clue Scrolls. And since the dawn of RuneScape, third age has always been some of the rarest and most prestigious armor in our game. Master Clues can take a ridiculous amount of time or billions of GP to receive, which makes it no surprise that these third age items that come with a drop rate of actually 1 out of 313,168 are extremely unlikely to ever receive one, let alone a specific one, and let alone all of them for all those collection loggers out there trying to get them. We should note that you do actually receive a few rolls per master casket, so the 1 out of 300,000 does sound a little bit worse than it actually is. But when you look at the current top page of the highest scores, it starts at rank 25, only having 1,500 KC for the master clues, to good old Flash at the top with almost 7,500 KC, absolutely nowhere near the drop rate of receiving all the third age items. And the JMods did state when the collection log first came out that because of the third age, it was not designed to be completed. But RuneScapers are a whole different level of gamer, and that has not stopped people trying, with many grinding countless hours every single day to try and get lucky and receive some of the rare third age items to put them ahead of the other collection loggers. And Flipping put out a video, which is all linked down below, trying to show how many hours it would actually take if you were to complete the collection log of all of the clue scroll items. And as you can see, just for the master clue tier of items, it would literally take 115 years to try and complete, totaling the collection log to take 172 years to be completed for all of the clue scroll items. But we still have something even rarer in the game than third age that no one has actually ever received, despite it being the dream of just about every RuneScaper since they first started playing. And don't worry about taking 115 years, this has collectively taken thousands, if not millions of years from every RuneScaper in the world trying to receive just one. But as recording this video, not one single player in our entire game has actually received our number one for this top 10 list, the rarest thing in all of RuneScape, the elusive item, drum roll please, is a girlfriend. But I do hope you enjoyed watching. We've got plenty more videos planned and coming out, so make sure to drop a sub, drop a like, perhaps even share it to your mother or Discord, and I'll see you legends later.